Hello friends, this is Chandrakant from Akul Mac Technologies. Welcome to Top Brass. And friends, as you know, yesterday we started our discussion with a very eminent lawyer at the High Court in Ahmedabad, Mr. Nagesh Sood. So let me welcome Mr. Nagesh Sood once again today. Welcome to Top Brass, Nagesh.
Hi, CK. Thank you very much. And I'm back today.
Welcome, most welcome, Nagesh. And in fact, our topic of discussion was the recent suicide done by Sushant Singh, who was a very popular and very successful actor, movie actor, and TV star. So today we would like to discuss about taking the discussion forward from yesterday. Is that what is this suicidal tendency and what kind of people tend to commit suicide and how we can stop it? So we would like to know your comments on that.
Yes, CK, basically, you see, today I would want to speak about what is going in the mind of a person who is wishing to commit suicide. Actually, suicide is something I said that it is a cry for help. Now, the mind of suicidal is that he wishes to live, but there is an urge to die. There is a very thin line that a person who wants to commit suicide definitely doesn't want to end his life. He There is an urge to live, and that is how he shows many signs to people around him, so that people who are there, who are his well wishers, who are his loved ones, can save him with that impulsive urge of dying. Now, the mind of a person having this idea of suicide is very complex. There are no easy reasons, and there are no easy solutions. So, we as a stakeholder, as a responsible citizen, or a person close to the person having this kind of mind, have to first of all believe that any effort in deviating a person's mind from that urge to die is something like you've done the job. It is actually not sometimes possible that you can change the mind of a person having suicidal thoughts, because being suicidal is not a permanent state. It is a state of intense emotions and can last for 2 to 3 weeks, beyond which suicidal ideation can come down. And the ongoing stresses can cause the person suicidal again. So you have to see if the person is persistent with his thought or with his stress, that thoughts must go away, and we have to bring that person to a situation that he does not ideate suicide, and he there is a hope which is generated in his mind that life is so beautiful, and that he must strongly wish to live.
Nagesh, when you say that the person is feeling suicidal, and it is the responsibility of the people who are around this person to understand that this person is going to is showing some symptoms and he may take a drastic action. Um, but I think there is a need for an orientation program for everyone because we don't know who can get into that kind of a mind frame. So, do you know or do you have any idea if there is such orientation programs which are available today?
Well, for me, I can say that there are about 16 centers in India, and there may be many more centers who are working towards prevention of suicide. I am working for an organization called Befrienders India since last 14 years, and this organization has about 16 centers across India, which is dealing with prevention of suicide since last 30 years. Now, whoever wants to join as a volunteer in these centers have to apply, and definitely after proper scrutiny of their application, uh, an interview would be conducted, and there is an exhaustive training program that is conducted for the volunteers by the centers periodically. It may be twice a year, maybe once a year, and those programs are conducted to give a perspective, to give an idea as to how you can prevent suicide. For a common man, the word suicide has different connotations, different meaning, and people have different perspectives when they look at a suicide happening around them. The suicide is a very complex mind, and there are so many factors which are the causes for any person to commit suicide. So, unless you are aware of those factors, unless you are aware of the concept of suicide, I'm sure it would be difficult for us to help. Yet, our centers have mentors, and they conduct workshops, and they conduct sessions with corporates, with schools, with colleges, and make everybody understand as to how they can participate or they can contribute in saving somebody's life, and trying to make a difference in their life by helping them at that critical point where the person is undergoing enormous stress. So generally what we believe is that listening to a person, actively listening to a person warmly, can really turn the table. I mean, it can really help a person to share his feelings and deviate him from that critical situation, that impulsive moment where he can take this drastic action. Once proper listening of a story without being judgmental or critical take, takes place, then the person feels very calm and composed and can take back his decision of committing suicide. Then constantly what is required is for all of us to give emotional support. Emotional support can be given by concentrating on his feelings. As I spoke earlier, there could be many feelings which the person might be undergoing, like anger, like isolation, like low self-esteem, or he would be, uh, eating more. There could be a lot of mindset which a person might be going through. And you have to support that feeling. If a person is angry, you have to understand. Maybe you don't agree with the situation or the point of view which that person is having. Yet you have to accept him completely. You have to accept his thought process completely in order to be with him. So this is very important for a normal citizen who is not fully trained to kind of, help a person as a stakeholder, as a responsible citizen of the society, and help this person to avoid this impulsive behavior.
Nagesh, there was a time when society was more cohesive and there were more closeness among people. And hence, you know, the situation of reading the symptoms was a lot easier. So, do you have, or your organization with which you are associated, has any program where volunteers is one thing, but giving the information by and large to society itself, some sort of awareness program. So, do you have some sort of an awareness program which you are taking out to the people?
Yes, definitely. As a responsible NGO, our centers uh, do have outreach programs. We, as I already said, that we conduct workshops, we conduct sessions with various people in the society. Some of our centers have mentored police officials who are taking everyday calls now and acting as volunteers. The police personnel have in Ahmedabad have come up with a lifeline called Zindagi, wherein any person in distress has been able to call them, and immediately that helpline or help is offered to that person if he is not able to reach our NGO. Similarly, in all other centers, there are uh, various workshops which are conducted. As I said, we conduct sessions in schools. We go and talk to students. There are sessions conducted for students beginning from 7th standard till 12th standards, as we know that during examination every student suffers from examination pressure, parental pressure, etc. So these are the times when we conduct workshops for helping these students to talk about various issues which are going in their mind. As I already indicated, that when a listening ear is offered to a person, and when you are able to build that trust with that person, the person can easily come out with his story or with his problem. And once he comes out and shares that problem, half of your work is done, and the person also feels relieved, and the stress is kind of, lowered down, and that person feels much lighter. So we our effort is to reach out to maximum people. We have, in fact, conducted workshops for specially challenged people. We have regular volunteering at places like old age homes, army, police, where we give constant support to wives of army personnel, wives of uh, police personnel, and to the army and police personnel as well, because they also feel stress sometimes in their jobs while they are away from their families, and at times they need the support of somebody with whom they can share their problems, their issues, and that is how we are trying to help. By reaching out to people of various areas.
Nagesh, kudos to you and your NGO. You're obviously trying to understand the problem which affects our society today, and you're trying to do as much as you can, bringing all these good features to the society for the benefit of society. But I personally feel that the rehab concept should be adapted in a big way, and that is where I think the we as a society are missing out, because we feel very shy about getting into rehab. And I think that should be an open culture, especially when the families are not living in a closed confinement. They are now living separately from each other. So I think the concepts of rehab should be adopted in a big way. You have any opinion on this subject?
Definitely, you see, when a suicide takes place, it is lost not only to that individual or the family of that individual, it is a loss to the society. It is lost to everyone. Everyone around that person is shocked, as we have seen in the case of Sushant Singh, that the entire nation is affected by this incident, and everybody is affected. There is emotional trauma felt by each one of us that such a successful star has taken this drastic step. But there is so much which goes within the mind of a person, and there is so much we as a society can do. When this kind of incidents takes place, the responsibility comes of media as to how responsibly media shows this incidents or talks about this incidents to people. It is really a sorry state of affairs that media goes out and talks about this incidents in a very different way. There are norms which are fixed for media which has to be followed while reporting about a suicide case. I mean, as you know, because of this incidents, there could be copycat incidences also. People who are already going through such a phenomena or such a mental state can copy their ideal, their hero, and commit this drastic step. So it is very important for media as a responsible media to reflect and to report the incidents properly. Secondly, when a family is affected of the person who has committed suicide, it is the responsibility of the society, entire society, to come together and support that family, because that family is living in stigma. When people see that somebody near or dear one has committed suicide, it becomes very stigmatic for that person to live in the society. The person suffers from guilty, shame, and there are other kind of feelings which comes into the mind of the family members or the friends of the person who has committed suicide. Everybody starts feeling as if they could have helped that person, but it is because of them such an incident has taken place. So it is very important for others in the society to help the family, to get people out of this concept of stigma attached to suicide, because it is a state of mind which anybody or everybody can go through at a particular time when he is persistently facing an issue. So it is not something that somebody is of a weak mind or somebody is not able to handle, or this thing. It could happen to anybody. Like in Sushant Singh case, he was a very successful star, but because of some failures, because of some things happening in the society, this has happened. So everybody's contribution is a must. One has to contribute by supporting the family and kind of rehabilitate them in the society. And if a person gets back from the suicidal ideation, it is again a responsibility of the near and dear ones and the society to get him out of that situation.
Nagesh, this is a very vast subject, and we definitely not cover in few minutes of our discussion. But dear viewers, if you want to contribute or help out in this cause, do write to us. We will connect with you with Nagesh too and his NGO. So our email is will be listed in this video at the end of the video. If you want to write to us, please most welcome to write to us. Nagesh, it has been a pleasure talking to you, and please keep doing the good job. And from my side, from my team, from my company's team, best wishes from our side to you, Nagesh.
Thank you so very much, Chandrakant. It was wonderful. It was wonderful being here on this platform. Thank you so very much. Kind of you.
Thank you, Nagesh. And tomorrow we will meet again to discuss some other pressing issues, and we would like to know your opinion. So until then, bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.